Welcome to Cannon Chambers. I'm Patrick Cannon, and this is about tax and crypto. Now, I'm acting for a number of clients at the moment who have UK tax issues with crypto, ranging from how to report their gains correctly to HMRC and within the time allowed, and to get their tax right, through to clients with unreported gains and those who are currently under HMRC investigation, including, in some cases, criminal investigation. So I thought it would be helpful to offer some thoughts from my experience in advising clients on UK tax and crypto. I need to say, however, that what follows is put forward simply for your further consideration, and nothing I say should be acted upon, nor should you refrain from acting without taking further detailed professional advice on your specific situation. Before I get started, though, there's one very important message. Crypto is not a place to hide money from the tax authorities. Just because your activities take place in cyberspace through anonymous trades does not mean that you don't have to pay tax on the gains, nor does it mean that HMRC will not be aware of your trades and your identity. I've acted for clients who had wishfully decided that a few million they earned from crypto was tax-free, and they could buy a new house or a Ferrari, and HMRC would be none the wiser if they didn't report the gain. A few years go by, and they think they've got away with it, but their lives are turned upside down when the brown envelope from HMRC arrives, inquiring as to why there was no trace of these millions on their tax return from a few years ago. Honestly, if there's one takeaway from this video, it is don't be that guy. So, are crypto gains taxable? Well, yes, and this is because the UK authorities do not regard crypto in the same way as cash, which as an asset can be acquired and spent tax-free, but as having the same nature as stocks and shares, so that any gains on selling or transfer will be taxable disposals. The tax that applies when you make a gain on crypto will normally be capital gains tax, or CGT for short, but in certain cases income tax can apply instead, depending on the type of transaction concerned. For example, gains will be treated as liable to income tax if you are paid wages in crypto, or if they are from staking, mining, or airdrops, and in DeFi, or decentralized finance, from staking, yield farming, or lending. Okay, so how much crypto can be tax-free? Well, from 6th of April 2024, if the gain is liable to CGT, then the first £3,000 of total capital gains for the tax year are exempt, and then you have to pay 10% or 20% CGT, depending upon how much taxable income you also have for the year. If your crypto gains, however, fall under income tax instead of CGT, then the rates of income tax vary between 20% and 45% on specific slices of income, depending on the amount, and if your earnings are paid in crypto, national insurance contributions of up to 12% on a slice of your earnings may also be taxable or added as well. Now, can HMRC find out about your crypto wallets? Well, HMRC receives or can obtain information about users and their trades from all UK exchanges, and will have the information you gave the exchange when you opened your wallet. HMRC also has agreements with the tax authorities in some other countries, which may allow them to access information about exchanges in those countries. It is fair to say, however, that DeFi, or decentralized finance transactions, involving peer-to-peer financial services on public blockchains are harder for HMRC to track. HMRC are increasingly concerned about unreported gains by UK residents and have recently issued 2 guides to telling HMRC about unpaid tax on crypto, and also about how to pay the tax on crypto. I put the links to these 2 guides below. The fact that HMRC have issued this guidance suggests that they are gearing up for a big push on unpaid crypto taxes and are simply giving people the chance to come clean beforehand. But if you have unreported crypto gains, then now would be a good time to take professional advice and report the gains to HMRC. Do you have to declare crypto assets to HMRC? Well, merely owning crypto is not normally required to be reported to HMRC. But of course, when you make a gain from crypto by, for example, selling it for cash, exchanging it for other crypto, spending crypto on services or goods, or gifting crypto, then you must report that gain to HMRC in your tax return and pay the CGT or income tax as appropriate at the right time. So what happens if you're under investigation by HMRC for failing to declare a gain on crypto? Well, in this situation, you are potentially in serious trouble. I've advised a number of clients in this situation, and it is not a pretty sight. What will happen is likely to depend on how you respond to HMRC when they open a check into your tax affairs. It can be difficult emotionally to decide how best to respond initially because of the shock and worry caused by the letter you've just received. However, it's almost always sensible to cooperate and be transparent and pay the tax due. This will ensure that the matter is dealt with as quickly as possible and with the minimum interest and penalty costs and emotional trauma to you. Of course, in rare cases, HMRC may simply have got it wrong, and they've wrongly accused you of underpaying the tax. And in these cases, you should, of course, defend yourself. In any of these situations, it's almost always sensible to seek advice and representation from a professional advisor. But do make sure that they are properly qualified professionals with experience of crypto and tax investigations. Now, a word of warning. I've discovered in the last few years from representing clients that there are a lot of pretty bogus firms out there on the internet with good search engine optimized websites designed to capture inquiries from people under investigation. And these websites claim to be solicitors or lawyers with lots of expertise in tax investigations. But upon scratching the surface, they are simply con merchants who are actually not UK qualified solicitors, and they rely on, quotes, lawyers, unquotes, from obscure jurisdictions, and whose main aim seems to be to extract the maximum amount of fees from clients under investigation and to actually string the process out. Having said that, it pains me to say that I've also had clients who've encountered UK solicitors and barristers, particularly in the criminal area, who are out to earn as much money from their clients in distress as they can. So please do choose your advisor wisely and ideally upon personal recommendation from clients that they have represented. If you receive a Code of Practice 9 letter from HMRC saying that they suspect you of tax fraud, then you should definitely take advice before you accept their offer not to prosecute you if you come clean and admit tax fraud. If you have any kind of professional qualification or occupy a public office or an office of trust, then you risk ending your career and losing your job if, as part of the COP9 process, you admit in writing to committing tax fraud to HMRC, as you will normally be obliged under your relevant Code of Professional Conduct to report that fact to your professional body or institution, with the almost inevitable consequence that you have admitted tax fraud, leading to loss of your qualification or your position. It's also important, even if you are not suspected of fraud, to deal with HMRC carefully, and where realistic to do so, avoid conceding that your non-payment of tax was either deliberate or careless, because deliberate or careless behaviour carries penalties. And there's sometimes a trap that HMRC lay in tax investigations. When it comes to the assessment of penalties, HMRC will often ask you to explain the behaviour that led to the non-payment. Now, there's a trap there, because as soon as you say anything that suggests you were either deliberate or careless, then you're setting yourself up for a penalty. So be very careful about how you respond to such an invitation. I'm sometimes asked if HMRC can seize crypto for non-payment of tax. Well, in principle, yes, they can do so using their powers of search, seizure and forfeiture, mainly under the Proceeds of Crime Act 2002. Now, of course, the nature of crypto and wallets and DeFi may mean that it is very difficult or impossible to actually get at the assets concerned without your cooperation. And so HMRC may have to resort to personal sanctions against the alleged owner for failing to comply with orders to yield up the crypto, such as asking a magistrate to levy fines or send the person to prison for non-compliance. So eventually it's likely that HMRC will obtain the crypto, but the process may not be that easy. Well, as I've discussed, crypto gives rise to many wide-ranging issues in relation to taxation. And in almost all areas, you can benefit from taking professional advice from a genuine UK-qualified barrister, solicitor or accountant with crypto experience. I'm Patrick Cannon, a barrister with plenty of expertise in advising clients in tax matters and representing them in disputes with HMRC and in cases before the tax tribunals and the courts. And if you would like my help, please contact me using the contact form below. Goodbye.